All right, so let's you know what, Anthony, I haven't heard from you in a while, man. Give me some matchups that you're looking forward to in this game. What do you think, man?
Yeah, so last week I noticed the Arizona Cardinals really, really focus on Dalton Kincaid. There is an image going around where there's 4 Cardinals players
Yep,
surrounding Dalton
I
Kincaid.
saw that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to do the same thing, and I think Dalton Kincaid is the biggest weapon that they have right now. I think um, highly touted coming out of college, had a really, really good rookie season that was overshadowed by what Laporta did over in Detroit. But
yeah,
like if you look at Kincaid compared to other rookie tight ends, I mean he had a really good rookie season. Uh, and when you're looking at the wide receiver core, like Steve and Josh have alluded to, where a rookie Keon Coleman is the one, right? The
yeah.
one. There's Khalil Shakir, there's Curtis Samuel, and then
Mac Hollins.
and Mac
Oh,
Hollins,
good
which
old
I
Mackie.
love Mac Hollins,
Yeah.
and he's like a
I miss him.
destroyer of worlds.
Yeah. I miss Mac Hollins. I do.
I do too. I really wish
He's
he
a
stayed.
fun
But
guy.
like the point being is like their receiver core is not scaring anybody, but Dalton
Yeah.
Kincaid does, and there's a reason like Arizona's we're hyper focused on him, and Dawson Knox is another Dolphin killer. So the 2 tight ends combined, I think that's where the trouble is. Jordan Brooks and David Long had an up and down game week 1 against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
They were brought in because we needed more speed at middle linebacker, right? But who do you have where? Who's covering the tight ends? Who's covering Josh Allen? Like, I am watching to see how Anthony Weaver handles this. This is obviously his biggest test yet.
And that's a good point. You need somebody covering Josh Allen. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's a really good point. Like, you have to designate that.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't
Like,
think
do you
you
bring
can
in-
spend
do
the
you-
entire game spying Josh Allen because you're leaving your back end so vulnerable to tight end.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Do you bring in a 5th defensive back like May and have him spy the
Probably.
whole game? Like that's really
That weapon X position.
right.
The deal.
I like that.
I love that. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if you want one or more matchups because I figure we do one at a
give
time.
me another one, Anthony. You've been largely silent down there this show, so give me another one.
I'm absorbing all of your guys' knowledge. That's all I'm doing down here, right? So it's just so good to talk to Dolphins fans, like-minded. And I don't want to steal all the matchups. So I think the one I actually just kind of shifted to when I shifted out of Dalton Kincaid form and went to Josh Allen running the ball form, I do think that's a huge one. It's maybe the biggest one we have to worry about. I know he only had 39 yards last week, but 2 touchdowns, guys. That's the stat that matters. When they're in the red zone, Josh Allen is a touchdown machine. That's a good question. I'll let one of the other boys handle that one.
All right. So all right. So yeah, I agree. I think I agree with what Josh said. You can't spy Josh Allen the entire game. You just can't. But I think what Josh Allen forces you to do is play more zone. Which you're keeping your eyes on the quarterback while simultaneously kind of keeping your eyes in coverage. You play man against Josh Allen. Josh Allen's going to run all over the yard on you. So I see the Dolphins playing a lot of zone, and I don't know that that's their strength.
No, but I see a lot of hybrid. So I see maybe our linebackers playing zone with our cornerbacks playing, our linebackers and safeties playing zone with our cornerbacks playing man press or something like that, just to try to offset some of the timing and whatnot, while also containing Josh Allen in the pocket and not letting him hopefully scramble as much to improvise.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong here. I think this worked really well last time we actually won against them in 2022, that really close game. But I feel like in that game, we had our edge rushers actually dropping back a lot to kind of just throw them off the scent of like what was coming. So occasionally dropping Jalen Phillips back is going to throw him off. He tries to run. I mean, you're not getting past Phillips. I mean, so like that's why I'm like so hyper focused on like what is Anthony Weaver going to do here? Like this is a huge test, division rival, and your biggest problem is don't let this guy run into the end zone.
Yeah. All right, Steve, give me a matchup that you're looking forward to in this game.
I'm interested in seeing how Tua reacts to the pressure of the defense. I'm interested in seeing if Ed Oliver is going to get in there or You know, you got the Daquan Jones.
Daquan Jones.
Yeah, Daquan Jones. I mean, these guys aren't sleepers, and I don't know how our interior is compared to our exterior. I like our outsides way better than our inside, and I think this is probably, well, obviously, to date, this is our toughest matchup, and it's going to be, I think, throughout the season, because until we get to Green Bay, I don't think that there's going to be interior linemen that we're going to see that's as good as these two. So that's the matchup I'm interested to see how Tua, how quick he can get the ball out. You know, how that pocket kind of creates for him. I'm interested.
Yeah, it's Ed Oliver's a problem. Ed Oliver's always been a problem for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
No matter
Ed Oliver's
who,
a problem.
yeah,
For sure.
you know, and no matter who's playing guard for the Dolphins, Ed Oliver seems to, much like Josh Allen, he seems to have some of his best games against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So with less than ideal guard play, you know, this is why I have Ajita. This is why I stay up at night. You know,
It's not the matchup I'm excited for, but it's the one I'm definitely watching.
Oh,
yeah. So give me a matchup you're watching, Josh.
Yeah, honestly, you know, I'm a glutton for punishment, so I cannot wait for this game. Right, win, lose, draw. It should be. Hopefully, it's a good game, and hopefully, we're on top. But for me, it boils down to our defensive front against Brown and Dawkins. So they're two offensive tackles.
Yeah,
I think because they are the strength of in my opinion. I'm sure Bills fans might disagree, but they are the strength of their offensive line. They are two very, very, very good offensive tackles. And I think given how weak their interior offensive line is, if we can make a dent versus their, at least in my opinion, their two best offensive linemen, we win this game. Right. So if Calais Campbell, who's a kind of a Swiss Army knife, he can be inside, he can be outside, he can rush, he can drop. JP, hopefully he's not on too short of a snap count. You have Sealer, who had a very quietly good second half against the Jags, and you have our two rookies in Mo and I can't believe I'm drawing a blank out.
Chop.
Thank you, Chop. Jesus, I was trying to think of his real last name, Robinson. You know, I think there's a lot of potential mismatches, and what I love about how we have structured our defensive line specifically is that they're all interchangeable, which allows us to throw 11, 12 different looks of the same base defense to the opposing team. You can put JP on the inside. You can put Calais on the outside. You can put Mo Kamara on the inside. You can put Sealer on the outside and swap them all. And you never know who's rushing, who's eating up blockers for the linebackers to rush, or who's punching and dropping off into coverage. And I think it's going to be that is where the game will be won or lost, in my opinion.
Okay. I agree. I think this game is won and lost in the trenches, which is why the matchup I'm looking forward to is the Dolphins. Much kind of riffing off what Steve was saying, Dolphins offensive line against the Bills defensive line, specifically in the running game. The Dolphins cannot. They can't go the rest of the season. They can't go throughout this game not running the football or running the football the way they ran the ball against the Jaguars. That's not sustainable.
I have a question for you, Keith.
Not for success. Yeah, Steve.
Oh, wait. It's actually in there. Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you think that they're going to run the ball more 20? Like if there was an over under on Vegas that was like 22 times, do you think they're going to run it more or less than that?
I think they should run it more than that. Yeah. I think they should run it more, but I don't know that they will. That's game script. That's game script. You know, that determines how much they're going to run the football. But the Dolphins are at their best when they're running the ball, when they're running the ball effectively. That's how a Mike McDaniel, Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan, Gary Kubiak offense runs best, is when they're running the ball effectively. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And, you know, one would argue that's how all offenses run best. But this offense especially is humming when you're stacking the box and trying to stop Achane or Mostert or or
Hot take: Jalen Wright going over 100 yards this game.
Hey, I love it.
That would be sweet.
From gouging you, and this is what the Dolphins need to do. They need to run the football much better than they did against Jacksonville.
So do you think that if the Bills end up winning, it'll be a defensive win over an offensive win? Do you think the offense has an ability to beat the Dolphins?
I think the entire Bills team has the ability to beat the Dolphins.
Yeah.
They, I blame it. I blame a lot of it on Josh Allen, but I mentioned Ed Oliver. We've mentioned Matt Milano, who's not going to play in this game. There's a lot of players on the Bills that have just been. They play their best against the Miami Dolphins for whatever reason. I'm not,
I'm going to say it's out of respect.
Okay.
Just so I can sleep better at night.
Let's go with that. All right. So, guys, we're getting up to an hour and 45 minutes we've been at this. We do need to kind of wrap up here soon. So I'm going to get some score predictions from you. Give me some score predictions and give me maybe a bold take for what you think is going to happen in this game. Anthony, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, I think it's 24-21 Dolphins, despite the fear in my heart and in my mind. I do think Miami comes out on top in this one. I lowered my score much more than last week's score against the Jaguars after seeing our slow start. I'm kind of pulling back a little bit on our offense until they kind of get the wheels in motion. As everybody's alluded to in this thing, there's a lot of changes on our offense, right? No River Craycraft underneath as like kind of to a safety valve. Play calling was a little rusty, so we'll see what they do. My bold prediction for this one is that if Achane doesn't play, it's Jalen Wright season. Josh just mentioned 100 yards, bold take. I don't want to steal your bold take, so I will also say that Jalen Phillips, he will get 2 sacks in this one.
Hey,
all right,
I like it.
Love it. Steve, give me a score prediction, man.
I got 26-23 Miami, but my bold prediction is we win in overtime.
Hey,
okay,
I love that. That's terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
I truly do think that the defense is going to be the biggest problem that the Bills give us, and I don't know how we handle their defense with how slow our offense was last game.
Right. My heart can't take this kind of stuff, Steve. The way they won against the Jaguars last week, and then you're predicting an overtime game. Yeah. I'm going to be dead by December. That's
easy,
good
bro.
Football. It's good football.
That's funny. But that's why we do this stuff, man.
Yeah. All right, Josh, give me a score prediction, bold take.
Yeah, so score prediction 27-23 Miami. I think it's going to be real close. Well, first of all, I think Buffalo jumps out to a lead. I think Miami catches up. I think it stays close until towards the end of the game, and then I think Miami pulls away. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you want a bold take on defense or offense? Because I have one of each.
Give me them both.
Yeah. All right. So I think, as stated earlier, I think just no matter if Achane is in or out, I think Jalen Wright has over 100 yards of total yardage, not just rushing, of total yardage. All right. So receiving and rushing. Defense, I think we'll pick Josh Allen off twice.
All right.
One to the house.
Not quite. Not comfortable. Not comfortable.
I'm trying to speak for you. Nobody saw me.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going 27-24. So out of all of us, the largest margin of victory predicted here is 4 points by Josh.
Yeah.
Me, Steve, and Anthony have all won 3 points. I said 27-24 on last night's show on Nickel City Mafia. I'm going 27-24 tonight. My bold prediction, I was actually going to say the Dolphins pick off Josh Allen twice. Right. My bold prediction is one of them is going to be Jordan Poyer.
Oh.
Ooh.
One of those interceptions is going to be Jordan Poyer.
Off the bench. I like it. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Revenge game. Revenge of what? I don't know, but